Greetings. Like for all of us, the pandemic of 2020 is reshaping the way I live and work. My workday has become a series of back-to-back meetings with my two-dimensional colleagues, made possible by the magic of spectacularly efficient video conferencing. Now, while we have all been affected, we are learning that, in particular, the impact of the pandemic on women has been disproportionate. A report prepared by the Rapid Research Information Forum that I chair as Australia's chief scientist found that during the pandemic, women are facing unequal increases in caring responsibilities and greater disruptions to working hours, job security, and paid work. The report also showed that the hard-won gains by women in STEM fields are especially at risk, a risk that will be even greater if STEM employers do not closely monitor and mitigate the gender impact of their decisions. One specific example is the impact on academic publication rates. The early evidence suggests that the rate of women submitting academic research in STEM fields has declined during the pandemic, while men's submissions rates have increased. Unless consideration is given to the reasons for this decline, most likely the increased caring responsibilities, women's future job and funding prospects may be prejudiced. During this crisis, we have seen an unprecedented shift towards flexible working arrangements. And broadly, this has been positively received because, as we know, flexibility at work is vital to increasing women's participation in the workforce. The perverse result is that while all of us are expected to put in more job hours than ever, women are reporting that they are also picking up the burden of extra childcare, home learning, and other home duties. The resulting stress and mental health impacts are significant. Therefore, as we move forward, accommodating the impact of the pandemic is incumbent on us all to ensure that Australia has comprehensive access to the well-educated and passionate workforce comprised of people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. A workforce that will be required in full to drive the recovery and help solve the problems of the future. A workforce that will thrive in a society in which fairness is an overarching principle, underpinned by the provision of equal opportunities and equal compensation for all. But the evidence that has emerged during the pandemic is a reminder that we are still some way from achieving gender equality in the STEM workforce. As it happens, my office is finalising the second edition of the STEM Workforce Report, an analysis over 10 years of the Australian census. Despite some progress, the report shows there are areas in which we must continue to fight for change. Our analysis shows that women continue to be underrepresented in STEM management roles and have higher unemployment rates and lower incomes than men, even in equivalent jobs. And for women who are also part of a minority group, the challenges are far greater. For example, in 2016, university STEM qualified women born overseas, but who only recently arrived in Australia, had an unemployment rate of 14%, compared with only 3.3% for university STEM qualified women born in Australia. There is some modestly good news, with the data showing that over the last decade there have been some small improvements for women in STEM. For example, in 2006, 27% of STEM university graduates in the labour force were women, increasing to 29% 10 years later. In 2006, 18% of managers with a university STEM qualification were women, increasing to 22% 10 years on. And of STEM university graduates, we found that from 2011 onwards, women were more likely than men to continue their studies and obtain a STEM PhD degree. Data and evidence such as this are invaluable, as they may guide more effective actions as we look towards developing our priorities for the future. In that context, I am continuously inspired by the positive work of male champions of change, and I would like to acknowledge the change efforts that you, my colleagues, are leading in your companies, in your work, and in your communities. MCC has always been outcome-oriented and future-facing, And I am therefore looking forward to working with you to identify the bold moves we must make to emerge from this pandemic stronger than before. Thank you.